Hello and welcome to another episode of Intentionality, where we talk about work and life and purpose. Today we have a guest who believes that if there is a purpose and if you go after that and manifest the outcome, everything around you, your family, work, community supports you to make that happen. He's an example of that. So today we have Vivek Nayudu, who started his career as a product manager and today is VP products. Pretty much he works 10 to 12 hours a day, and yet he finds time to strength train 3 times a week, run 4 times a week, and he's an ultra marathoner. He recently finished Comrades marathon back to back twice, which is basically 87 kilometers. And after that, within a month or so, he came and finished Hyderabad marathon and he hit his PR, sub 340. And then he went after Satara Hill half marathon. So basically, he goes after elevation. So it was fun talking to him about balancing life, work, family, everything, and yet go after ultra marathons. So you will certainly learn a lot from the conversation that I had with Vivek Nayudu. So let's head over. So Vivek, you ran 9 hour 30 minutes, 87 kilometers in June, Comrade
Yes.
Marathon,
Mm-hmm.
which had around 1,750, close to that, meters of elevation.
Yes.
Then you came back, you did a sub 340 marathon in August,
I do.
Hyderabad
Mm-hmm.
marathon. Then you went to Satara Half, where there was 490-meter elevation.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you?
I think when I started training for Comrades, uh, there was a lot of aerobic effort which was put into get through the training. It's a slow, long run, so uh, almost 100% of the volume is aerobic run only. So you can say that I ended up building a reasonably good aerobic base,
Okay.
so I can quickly do a little bit of a couple of week of speed runs like intervals and all. And since the base was there, the legs had the strength, and because the mileage I have put in, long distances was no longer much of a worry for me. So I could perform reasonably well in Hyderabad marathon. And we all know Hyderabad marathon is a marathon of flyovers, right? You have to
Yes.
cross 3 flyovers. So
But
they
had
were
around
not so
296
scary.
meter
Yeah.
elevation. 296-meter elevation. Yeah.
Yes. But Satara is something which is very close to people in Pune. So getting into Satara is one big challenge because the slot opens up like 6 in the morning, and you have to like continuously keep trying it, and it gets filled in 5 minutes or so. And my entire group was going, so I thought I'll go and have some fun, right? I didn't plan to race it. So I slowly went and started climbing. And usually, when you take the U turn, depending on that, you decide that whether you will be able to do a sub 2 and how it's going to happen.
Right.
So I felt great. My legs were good. So I decided to crush it. So downhill, I just increased my speed, although I was cautious. So and the result was better than much better than what I was expecting. So I was happy. So one race trained me for the other, and this one trained me for the next one. So something like that happened.
So
All of them hills.
you're saying when you train for ultra, your aerobic base is built, so you can actually
Yes,
utilize that for shorter races.
definitely.
Okay. So that is sneak peek into your craziness into running. You're a VP products, right?
Yes.
You are a product management professional. Maybe
Mhm.
just give us a sneak peek into what is your work like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So I work for a product company, and we are into building and selling PNC insurance product across North America market. So I've always been working as a part of product company one way or the other. When this current organization I joined 2.5 years ago, they told me it's going to be a challenge because we want to build some new products, right? We have some products, existing products, but we want to build something new. And I was just, about to embark on I was like a little bit fresh in my running journey as well. So I was wondering how this is going to work out, right?
Mm.
So typically, the office starts with a couple of scrum meetings, right? There are 2 3 product lines which are going on, and then my morning is mostly consumed discussing with the teams what is the progress, how things are moving. And then I'm pretty strict about my meal times, lunch and all. So I typically around 1:30, after finishing some of the scrum calls, I take a lunch break.
Okay.
And that is where I start going through my own personal work, if something needs to be attended from my side and all, and then some casual discussions with the team. As the evening starts to, the afternoon culminates into evening, uh, then the day becomes slightly more busy because a lot of my team members are based out of North America.
Mm.
So that is where the real heavy lifting happens, when we start uh, working with them for meetings and all. But I make sure that I have my uh, early dinner.
Mm.
I switch off the camera, and even while meeting, I make sure that I eat and I'm well fed and my hydration is proper.
Mm.
And roughly you can say average around 8:30 the day ends. Then I come back home, try to distract myself by reading a little bit of newspaper and all. And sometimes I end up as well, but I try to end my day, try to go to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock or something like that, because then the next morning is waiting for me. So the day goes more or less busy. Some days are worse than the others as well.
The other day, I think you were taking call at around 9 p.m.
Yeah, yes,
So
definitely.
if you're starting your job at 9 a.m. and then it goes
Hmm.
until 8:30, 9 p.m., sometimes 10. If you're starting meeting at 9, then it goes
Yes.
until 10.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the day is longer. Uh,
Yes,
like what, 10, 12 hours? No, 12 hours. Yeah, it's not 10.
probably somewhere around the same time.
So that's quite a busy day at workplace.
Yes.
How do you find time for running?
The only time I can find is the morning, where nothing is happening, right? Nothing from the family, and nothing from the work front as well. So morning, I typically get up around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know,
Okay.
after the morning rituals, I reach my running spot. So there are people from my group who we get together, and we start the run somewhere between 5:30, quarter to 6, 6 o'clock. Everybody goes on a different program, and the target is to finish our workout by 7:30
Okay.
at the most, and then we come back home. And so that's the only time I have. That's the only time I can devote for running, nothing else. So my warm up, the actual workout, cool down, stretching, everything has to finish latest by 7:45, right?
4:30 to 7:45.
Yeah, that is the only time.
Okay. So you sleep by 9:30, 10-ish.
Mhm.
Do you get enough sleep?
Uh, some days I do get very good sleep, right? I'm able to, maximize my sleep time. But then I do take care when the sleep is not good. I'm very flexible with my running plan. Let's say I have a really long day in the office, then I
Mm.
skip the next day, because the rest is equally important. Recovery is also a part of training. It is equally important as
Right.
running. So I typically try to be a little flexible, or I will go easy the next day,
Mm.
or reduce my mileage or something like that. But those incidents are, you can just count on them. It probably happens once in 2 3 weeks or something like that. But yeah, sleep is a challenge with this hectic schedule.
Mm.
uh, Less sleep means less recovery, more trouble to the body. Yes,
Stress.
all those kind of things are there.
Right.
So we just need, it's a balancing act. Some days are easy in the office, those days are good for running, some days are not. you know
Right. Right.
yeah.
In fact, Garmin tells me that when I am speaking, when I am
Mhm.
doing the work, that is when higher stress compared to running or doing strength training. So,
Mhm.
so if you're spending 10 to 12 hours in office, I'm sure there is a lot of stress coming from there.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is you have a discipline, and that discipline
Yes.
helps in managing stress recovery, and then
Yeah.
balance both work as well
Yeah.
as running.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
So I truly believe the legendary runner Elliot Kipchoge.
Right.
He says in life only the disciplined ones are free. If you're not disciplined, you're slave to your desires, you're slave to your mood swings. So uh, if you are engaged in a busy work life balance, then a structure is will help you,
Hmm.
just like in running. A structured training will help you.
Right.
So your day has to be structured. That's all.
Thank you. That's actually a very great way to put it. And also quoting the
Yeah.
legend,
Hmm.
discipline matters, structure supports. So let's roll back to the past, and then
Hmm.
so I know you started as a product manager, and then you went on to become director of product management. Now you're VP of products. So
Hmm.
how was the journey from being an individual contributor to, so do people report to you now?
Yes,
So you
I
have
they
people
do.
responsibility plus strategy as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Uh,
we are a growing organization. So even though I am a part of the product team, but somehow I have I have few responsibilities on the delivery side as well when the product is being implemented. So it ultimately becomes my responsibility when there are issues related to product, or there are things which uh, certain customer wants and we feel that it should be a part of product because somebody else may want it. So developing those features or shipping them out, making sure that the product development life cycle is properly followed, and I'm responsible for the product roadmap as well. Translating the product roadmap into features, epics, and of course I have a team who you do a fantastic job of doing it. So uh, some years ago I was working more as a business consultant. I mean, the title was business consultant, but I was mainly responsible for designing the product, writing the requirements. Um, I was writing user stories, making sure that participating in sprint planning meetings, creating product backlog, uh, uh, grooming the product backlog, and then with the help of technical team sitting together, and with the help of Scrum Master getting acting as a product owner,
mm,
uh, all that. But then I got doing these things firsthand. I got a lot of experience.
mm,
So even though I had the backing of theory, but I also had practical experience that where things go wrong, right?
right.
You know, and I learned from my own mistakes. But when the organization started growing a little bit, we had a few new acquisitions of other products,
Mm,
right? So, which mean more responsibilities, and I was a natural selection to be groomed. And I also had a team, but then the team started growing. So I went. Uh, as a director, when I got promoted from business consultant to director, I started handling 5 different product lines of businesses.
okay.
And the product owners which I put in command for those lines of business were the people whom I recruited, I groomed, and they had worked with me shoulder to shoulder.
Okay.
So it was very good for me to teach them what I learned from my first hand experience, and then see them growing over there. But then eventually, though I was a silent contributor to strategy of the product and all, but now in this current organization, I'm more involved at the strategic level.
Mm,
But product management, product development has always been my passion. So my roots are still connected
mm,
uh, with the teams. I do make sure that I still attend Scrum calls, make sure all the sprint rituals are properly followed, track it
mm,
periodically, uh, check them, and what I am more passionate about is imparting the product mindset to
okay.
people. I see it more as a mindset rather than a process, or the uh, Agile Manifesto says many things, but how do you make it as a part of a culture of your team or an organization, and how to adapt that mindset? So it's not about Agile does not enforces that you can have a 15-day sprint or a 3-week sprint or something like that. But what it means to have a 3-week sprint and what it means to have a 2-week sprint, how do you decide that? So that I mainly focus on getting people's mindset to make those right decisions, right? There is a technique to do story pointing, right? Not just throwing random numbers. So what I learned from my past experience that you know uh, the story pointing is an estimation technique which is very specific to a team, right? If a team says that we take two for this piece of work it takes us 5 story points, that could be 8 story points for some other team. It cannot be directly compared, but a lot of organization in order to have that rationalization, they define a standard call as like 1 story point is 8 hours. I mean, I don't blame them when you compare things around them. So those are some of the confines which we need to work upon. But I think the journey has been fantastic with a lot of opportunities running, and I'm fortunate that I meet a lot of good mentors. I remember 2012-11 when I first heard the word agile, I didn't knew anything, right? So my boss, he gave me a book, Mountain Goat Publications. I don't remember the name, but it was a fantastic book, right? I think you also recommended in one of your trainings. And I went through it, and he says that it's you'll get at least the background of agile, and then I started familiarizing myself with the terminology, Scrum, and all. Then I went back to rugby and tried to understand what is Scrum, because I understand rugby a little bit. Couple of years ago, I used to follow rugby, uh, the World Cup, the only thing. So then I started relating that how it is all about strategy. How the Scrum Master is if he gives a wrong pass in rugby, then the it can change the game, right? So it's been a fantastic journey, and I love to contribute. I love to interact with freshers in the team as well, so that I can imbibe the mindset early on to them. So
So if you have to define product mindset in few words, how would you describe product mindset?
See, product mindset, it can be really described as creating a product which is not just viable and marketable, but also easy to use without much of a training needed, right? The traditional way of doing software development was very much specific to a user, and there is a lot of I would say in insurance sector, we have the users are very educated user in terms of their processes and all. So once they teach something, they learn something, they can easily use it. But now in the product world, with new generation of people using software who are tech savvy and all, that the mindset has to be completely changed. So basically, if I say product mindset is not just creating a product which can be used, but it should be easily adaptable, it should be easily modifiable, you should be able to change it. So back in the day when you design a product, the technology was such that if you want to revive the product, or if you want to even change the user experience, change certain components, there would be a change in technology. But these days, the mindset has changed. Earlier, the visualization of the product was completely user experience, but these days we are creating products which is headless. So that is where that product mindset is coming into it, that we need to imagine the product without a user experience, and then we go out there and say that, hey, we can offer any experience you want. Just like the Android operating system, right? Somebody did a fantastic job. It's a product, right? Now there are many companies which have their own customization user experience on top of Android, but the core stock Android version still remains the same. Everybody gets the same. The heart and the engine of the product is same. So that is the mindset which I try my best to cultivate among people, and I'm still learning a lot about it.
Fantastic. So you're saying not just think about customers, of course, at the end of the day, customers use it, but it should
Yeah.
also benefit the organization to scale, modify,
Yes,
adapt however it wants.
definitely.
Okay. So, and your journey also kind of sounds keep on gathering experience when opportunity knocks, an opportunity meets the experience, you have the job. There is
Yes.
anticipate. How did the running start?
Yeah, that's a interesting story. So earlier, I knew few people who used to run, and to me it was no fun, right? Uh, I uh, I used to go to the gym quite regularly, and then with the first wave of COVID, everything became a standstill, right?
Hmm.
And first couple of months, we were just at home doing nothing, right? I never thought something could be done. Then eventually, I realized that past couple of years have been a reasonably active person. Now, how do I become an active person again in the confines of my house? Uh, and then I started working, started watching YouTube videos, doing workout using body weight and all those things. But then eventually I realized that what I miss is the culture around me while working out. So I used to have gym buddies.
Right.
We would have some fun, but this thing was not going. And then there is one person in my colony, and she told me that we have a running group, and I knew about it.
Mm.
And because gyms are closed, you can't go there. And I've seen you running couple of times, but I used to just run like 250, 300, 400 meters. I said maybe you can join us. And
Mm.
just as a casual thing, it started, and I started interacting with people, and I don't know, I just started enjoying it. That's
Okay.
it. That's about it. And then I got hooked onto it. And I thought, let me do this, and maybe I'll resume back my
Gym
uh,
later.
gym later.
Mm.
And in December 2021, I remember there are a lot of people who were signing up for half marathon. That
So
was
when
the
did the running start? 2021.
April 2021.
Okay.
April 2021. So by the time second wave came, right? So we were just running in isolations, not as a part of group. I was doing couple of kilometers, let's say 8 to 10 kilometers in a day, easy come back.
Okay.
Uh, and somebody told me that there is a event,
Okay.
and I didn't knew what an event was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, what about it? He said, it's happening in Pune. It's a half marathon.
Mm.
So it was the first edition of one of the half marathons. So the organizers knew somebody from our group, and
Mm.
he came and he told that if you join, if you sign up for it, we'll give you discount.
Okay.
And we thought, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I was amongst a lot of runners who had not done events for almost a year and a half. So they were more eager to, and I signed up. Okay. Then I ran it. Want debut half marathon, 100 minutes.
Okay.
I knew nothing, right? I just went.
Yeah, that's a
No,
good time.
no hydration, nothing. And then in that age category, I was amongst the top 10 with two more people from my group. And the feeling of getting the medal around your neck after finishing it was, undescribable.
Mm.
And what I think is, I got the high with people around me cheering, wearing that t-shirt and running and having fun. And then I thought maybe I can do this more, right?
Mm.
More often. And then my coach started giving me a very structured program.
Okay.
That is what it helped me. So it was not just casually running. Then he started putting me in a structured program. Intervals, tempo trainings, easy runs, fast run, long runs, short runs, uh, and strengthening exercises as well, lower body strengthening, core strengthening, very specific to uh, help to become a better runner.
Right.
So I started enjoying it, and it's a community sport, right? So you learn from fellow runners who have more experience. So fortunately, I have many runners in my group who've done world majors, done ultras, or have a good running history of around 7 years, 10 years.
Mm.
So I started, I learned a lot, and now I'm hooked onto it. I'm still learning a lot from them each day. So
So
that's how it started. COVID kind of gave me a gift
you're a
for
COVID,
running. Yeah.
you're a COVID runner. So you said running was not fun when you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are hooked onto it. So are you saying that camaraderie that you have with your running group, and there are many people who have done much more
Mm-hmm.
achievements who
Mm-hmm.
inspire, and that runner's high that made you get hooked into it?
First, it was the camaraderie and the the uh, the joy of achieving great distances in running. Right, initially 2-3 kilometers was a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, I was a very very naive person.
Mm.
Running to me was like you run like you were in school, right? Run fast, but that's not about it, right? You go slow.
Right.
So I didn't understood anything about it. I just thought, I'll run till the time I get exhausted, and then you stop. So that was not about it. But I find that I had, a good capability to achieve those distances uh, with reasonable effort.
Mm.
So that was one thing kept which kept bringing me back in spite of injuries, recoveries, and stuff like that. And apart from that, when I started participating in event, I remember my first full marathon. I was so nervous that whether I would be able to do that. But when I ran it, I saw people cheering over there, and I cannot explain how after those getting over their initial 10-12 kilometers, suddenly the pain is gone. I don't know what happens. Maybe the endorphins heavily kick in, right? And then you go into a zone where you just go. You're on autopilot. That's what you call it. Right? You just go.
Right.
Yeah. And then when the last 7-8 kilometers, then the festival of pain starts, right? That is what happens.
Nice way to put it.
So when I go back in time and think of those kilometers, I think I don't see any other way of getting that high
Mhm.
so easily. So the events actually inspire me a lot. I like people around. I like uh, fellow runners running, and people who watch them. I know most of them think that maybe I'll be able to do it someday.
Mm. Mm.
So I know that when I went to Comrades, next day a lot of people are wearing the medal which they earned the previous day. They
Right.
don't take it out.
Yeah.
It's there. If people are taking flight in the airport, they are just wearing it. And I couldn't understand what is the deal. And they say that we wear it not to show off, but to inspire other people.
Mm.
Right? It's a badge of honor, right?
Right.
And I feel proud about it, right? And I don't take off that medal till the time I reach home that day, right? If somebody asks me, I was traveling back uh, from Hyderabad when I finished Hyderabad marathon in the metro. I was wearing it.
Mm.
People ask me that where do you got that medal? I said just finish. Just by finishing, you get a medal. Yes. So
Mm.
running is a sport where everybody is a winner. You're not competing against anyone. You're competing against your own self. Even if you're not competing against your own self, no matter what, you're still doing the same distance. You
Right.
have your own set of challenges. You only know how we are overcoming those challenges to go. So running has to offer something to offer to everyone who
Mm.
finishes it.
Mm.
Nobody can take away the joy of finishing a marathon. Doesn't matter whether you make X amount of money or you're this and that. It's at the end, everybody is same, everybody is equal, everybody's traveling the same distance with the same body. There is
Right.
nothing you can do about it, right? So that's what makes it's a level playing field. So that's what makes it more interesting, right?
Mm. So you did Pune half in December 2020.
2021. Yeah.
And then which was the marathon that you did? Was it Mumbai?
No, actually, I signed up in 2022 for Hyderabad full marathon.
Okay.
But there was another full marathon which happened in July in Pune. So my coach told me that why don't you just go for the distance,
Mm.
right? And that is what made me know. So my official full marathon was supposed to be Hyderabad. That was I was training for. So July I went, and he didn't give me any instruction. He said you just have to complete it.
Okay.
And I had one senior runner who
I lost the voice.
Okay. So when my coach told me that treat this as a practice run, it's a local marathon, so that you will get over those jitters related to distance, and you'll get over your fear if you're running in another city.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, so I went there, and there was a senior runner who accompanied me till 32 kilometers. He
Okay.
was practicing for Comrades, and he had to do an aerobic run.
Mm.
So after 32, he told me that you look good. Maybe you should push it.
Mm.
And the last couple of kilometers were very brutal. It was a little bit of incline, but there were people from my running group who drove all the way, came there, and they ran with me to take me to the finish line.
Mm.
Then I realized that actually I did a sub 4,
Mm.
3:53.
Nice.
And maybe I'll do better in my actual marathon, right? So that was that feeling was unforgivable, and I had completed 42 years. And before I turned 43, I wanted to do a 42. So it became like 42 at 42, right?
Yeah. So that joy of accomplishing something that we think maybe enormous effort, yeah,
Yeah,
that gets you hooked. So
definitely.
did you do Hyderabad as well?
Yes. So I was very happy. I was in good shape.
Mm.
And the only thing I was new at tackling the elevation,
Mm.
right? But Hyderabad was fun. I mean, it's my native town, and I've been there as a child many times. Uh, been to those places like tourists or other people, visitors do. But then running around the city, it's very scenic. And this was my first official event. I didn't knew that that kind of a support existed on the route, right? Disc jockeys, DJs are there. People are playing music. Children from the school dressed up very nicely, lined up the roads to cheer and give me high five, right? And there were two army bands which were playing.
Okay.
And volunteers cheering, cycling marshals coming and making sure that you're there. And if you miss a electrolyte, somebody would come to you, and all kind of route support. So this was completely new to me. I was like completely mesmerized, and I was very much impressed by that. And I was like, if this is how an event is, I want to do more.
Okay. So you basically enjoyed the festival of pain.
Yes, you can say that.
So marathon itself feels like festival of pain after 32
Mhm.
humongous effort to finish it.
Mm.
87 kilometers is a different beast altogether. It's pretty much
Yes.
the double, right?
Mhm.
More than the double. So when did this come into your mind
Yeah.
that you have to run Comrade? By the way, what
Yeah.
is Comrade so that everybody knows what is Comrade?
Okay. So Comrades is a world's oldest and the largest ultra marathon. Okay. Oldest because it started in year 1921
Okay.
by a World War veteran called as Victor Kaplan, right? After coming back from World War One in South Africa, he wanted to do something for his fallen comrades in the war. Right?
Hmm.
So instead of creating a monument, he wanted something which becomes legendary and lives on.
Yeah.
So he, along with few of his comrades who were in the war, who survived, they ran from a small town called as Pietermaritzburg
Hmm.
in South Africa. By the way, this was the town where Mahatma Gandhi was asked to step down from the train
Okay.
uh, from the first class. So that history is there, and they went to the coastal city of Durban.
Okay.
Right. So the race became very popular, and people from all over the world participate. So my coach gave me just during running there was a casual conversation about shoes in running, right? The technology and all. And my coach is a bare feet runner,
Okay.
and he's not very opinionated about any shoes, and he says that barefoot running is far more better than running with shoes because you run with your natural ability of the leg. And he suggested me a book called as Born to Run, in which they have described how a tribe, South American tribe of Tarahumara, run 250 miles bare feet, right? Uh, there was a lot of mention of something called as ultra marathon. That is the first time I heard that word, ultra marathon.
Okay.
And then when I finished Comrades marathon, not Comrades, sorry, the Hyderabad marathon, I was preparing for Mumbai marathon. I think the entry for Comrades opened up, and my coach called me and, why don't you sign up for it? I was like, no way. And he was like, no, just sign up. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I signed up, and I was not even talking to him about that for a month. So when I completed my first Mumbai marathon, he told me that, you want to run Comrades? I said, yeah, I signed up. So how would be the training like? So I was more afraid of the training than the run. Right? The full marathon is so grueling. What would be a ultra marathon? It's double, right?
So you did in June you did Pune full marathon, and then in August you did Hyderabad. Then you did in
Mumbai.
January you did Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Back-to-back marathons.
Yeah.
Training cycle, and then you are thinking of Comrades.
Comrades, yeah.
Kind of
So yeah. So he told me that don't worry, most of the run is going to be aerobic. There are less chances of you getting injured, and don't worry about any timing and all. We'll just train for it and see what happens. And there were people in my group who had done two, 3 Comrades earlier, and they encouraged me that it's more mental. And I didn't knew, and I was the only one from my group. I didn't had a companion.
Okay.
But the people from my group committed to my training. They wanted to support me. So not a single long run I did alone. People were supporting me. Even though I was doing like 40, 45, somebody will do the initial 15 with me. Then somebody else will join. They would drive a scooter along with me to give me bottles of water, and if anything it is needed, any kind of support. So there were a lot of people. So I think that support actually made me going all the while. And what happened is, when I started to see that I was able to follow the training, I booked my flight tickets and hotel. Now there was no going back, because I've already spent a lot of money on it, registering and all. So I thought, let me do it. And lot of people, I joined the Comrades Marathon WhatsApp group as well. People were doing long runs like 65K and this, and I was not going anywhere. I was just running local around Kharadi.
Okay.
And then some people started having doubts. That's the biggest international event in the world, and how are you going to get prepared in Kharadi for it, right? Look at the roads, and you didn't even did a single hill run. You didn't went to Lonavala. You didn't went to this. You didn't went to that. And the only hill run I probably did was Satara.
Okay.
Or that too after Comrades, not before Comrades. After Comrades. No, before Comrades. Yeah, before Comrades. One Satara. So I said, okay, let me do it. But the maximum I had put in single run was 50 kilometers. And I was still in my mind that, wow, there's like 40 more.
Right? The longest was 50 kilometers. Okay.
Yeah, the longest I did was 50 kilometers, and I was going slow. It was a altogether a different game. So it's complete. It's like you learn to play 2020, then you have to go for a test match. It's more about survival and the varying weather conditions over the 5 days, and be there. You just have to be on the pitch, right? So while in half marathon you tend to deliver all you have, you got to do, give yourself.
Yeah.
Ultra marathon is completely opposite. You need to conserve it, save it for the last, right? And the body behaves differently in a very long run. Instead of carbohydrates, it starts using fat as a fuel, which elevates your heart rate. So we as human beings over the period have very well learned how to consume fat.
Right.
But we are slowly forgetting how to burn it. Our generations before were very good at that, but we don't. So that is what another part of training is there. So that's how my journey of ultra marathon began, and it was completely different. I have to forget about my timings. I have to go slow. I have to put more mileage. I have to uh, practice nutrition and hydration while running. So it became more of a strategy, right? Uh, what should I eat? How much should I eat? So you start experimenting with those things in your trial run, right? What should I wear? Sometimes what happens? You wear a fantastic T-shirt, but after 25 kilometer, you will get chafing. So, uh, all those learnings. Should I wear a cap because you're sweating? What type of a cap, right? Does it really helps? So I did experimented a lot. I consulted with a lot of people. I got good inputs, and eventually I developed my own way of handling the things. So uh, it was fantastic. I'll be very true. I was nervous the time I took the flight, but I started meeting people because everybody was going there. You land in Dubai airport, you find people wearing the same jacket and going around, and people had experience. And the good thing about ultra runners is they are very friendly people.
Okay.
And they are very nobody's stressful. They don't ask anything. They just say, "Oh, just run.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let's run. That's it. Don't worry. Don't think. We'll just run. That's it." Nobody talks about timing. Nobody talks about your pace, heart rate, VO2 max. None of that matters. They just say that, let's run. That's it.
So it's pretty much like running 2 marathons back to back. Right? So one thing that you talked about, it is called Comrades because they wanted to honor Comrades. It's actually a beautiful thing that they started this, because a statue would have been simply static there.
Yeah.
People are celebrating, living their life, conquering challenges. So it's actually a beautiful way to celebrate. Marathon, ultra marathon, different beast altogether. So
yes,
you said training is different. Here you're training for consuming carbs. There you're training for consuming fat. So what was your training week look like for Comrades?
So typically, it would be a 4-week block.
So one block is
one block is 4 week. Okay. So you put around 100 to 120 mileage in first 3 weeks. The 4th week will more be a tapered week.
Okay.
You'll go somewhere around 80 kilometers in that 4th week. Okay. You repeat the block of 4th week 3 times, 3 months or 4 months, whatever way you want. Okay. So it would be 100 kilometers. We would still be running. I would still be running 4 days a week. Okay. 4 days a week. So you divide that mileage somehow. On weekday, obviously, you are little engaged with the office work and all. So I would go somewhere Tuesday. One run would be 20-21 kilometers. Second weekday run would be around 25 kilometers. Okay. All of them is aerobic pace, easy pace. You have to converse. Then Saturday would be a little bit of a hill run, I would say. Put a little bit of elevation in that. And the place where I run, there is a lot of rolling. So automatically you get a little bit trained for elevation. Not to the point, but good enough. Okay. And Sunday would be a very long run. It would be anything 20 miles plus. Okay. Nothing less than that. So first week it would be 32 to 35. Second week it would go around 40. Okay. And third week it will go around 45. Then it will come down again to 28 or something. So you would run multiple marathons in the training block itself? Almost, I would say. And the most important run was the 10 to 8 kilometer run on Sunday evening. Okay. And there is a purpose to that run. So after you have completed your full week cycle, you just want to train your mind that you still have something to go. So the Sunday evening run was the most difficult, most atrocious run. Because in the month of May, it would be sweltering hot in Pune. 7:30, I'll start the run. You had done a good mileage in the morning. You are well fed. In the afternoon, you had a big lunch because you burned like 2,000 calories. Right. And then getting yourself together to go out and still do 8 to 10 kilometers and come back was so that my coach told me, think of it as as the last 10 kilometers of the ultra marathon.
Mm.
So you need to learn to run on tired legs and a mind which is about to give up.
Okay.
So that helped me
It's a
to
good time.
think that, and at the end of every Sunday evening run, I used to reward myself,
Mm.
right? Maybe a pint of beer or maybe an ice cream or something, like just something to look forward to. So that kept me going. So that typically would look like, of course, 3 days strengthening program will also be there.
Okay.
And I think after around 150 kilometers, I will visit the physiotherapist as well, to work on some recovery. If some muscles are stressed out, uh, is some therapy required to recover them, or in general consultation, and that also helped. So uh, having a good physiotherapist who is aligned with your goal
Mm.
is also very important. That helps a lot.
So it's total 5 runs. So 4 runs and one double run.
Yeah.
3 runs plus 1 day double run. And physiotherapy after every 150 kilometers of run.
Roughly, that's what I it took me. Somebody may take 250 kilometers. I don't know. Maybe they are better runners than me or more mature, or they've probably gone through that cycle multiple times. Yeah.
So I hope you are not injured in any of those cycles.
Uh, I did got injured many times. I will.
Because it's huge volume, right?
Yeah, it is a huge volume, and the thing is, Comrades happens in the month of June in South Africa. It's in southern hemisphere. It's their winter.
Mm.
When you want to train in northern hemisphere, it is your summer.
Right.
Those are and it's an off season in this part of the world. So you actually begin your training right after Tata Mumbai Marathon. Most of the people who run Comrades in India, they use Tata Mumbai Marathon as a qualifier.
Right.
And you start training it from February onwards. You take a break and start training February, March, April, May.
Yeah.
Those are the hottest months in India, right? So that is where so in order to do long runs, you really have to do very early. So
Right.
want to finish by 7:30. At least in Pune, 7:30 becomes extremely hot. Anything beyond 8 is strictly not advisable.
Mm.
It does not even benefits you in the run, because there you're gonna run between 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. It's very cold.
Mm.
So I would start at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
There was a time when I had to do 55 and I started 1:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So I wanted to give 5.5 hours. So 1:30 in the morning I started. It was uh, I got some strange looks on the road. People were coming back from the party, and like Sunday morning 1:30 and two guys are running on the road. Completely different.
How did your family take that training cycle? Because it was little different from marathon, right? So how did they
Yeah.
take it?
Well, I'm lucky enough to have a huge support from my family.
Mm.
So they realized eventually what I was up to. So that, see, for a layman, that distance itself is unfathomable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So a lot of time, my family members initially they couldn't fathom what exactly does it mean by, like, when you say 10 kilometers. What do you mean by 10? How do you that judgment of distance mentally is not there. So then when we drive, we realize that okay, it took us this much time. 10 kilometers is this big.
Mm.
We're going to do 90. How are you going to do 90?
Right.
So my wife, she helped me a lot in recoveries,
Mm.
right? Especially she's the without family support, you can't do an Ultraman. That is guaranteed, right? So no vacations, right? Because Sundays, weekends are dedicated for run. No vacations. Uh, Nutrition has to be very calculated, right? Sleep has to be calculated. So on Sundays after the run, I would come and have a little bit of ice bath for my legs.
Okay.
I need there are proper breakfast requirement, so she would support me with that, and then the heart rate is very high running in the heat. So after having breakfast, you need to sleep.
Mm.
In Indian household, it is not considered very good to go to sleep after breakfast. But then I was doing it, and my family was like, "You need to take rest." So family support is very much required. They knew what my wife knew what I was up against, and she was I didn't think she had a doubt whether I'll be able to do it or not, but she was a little bit of worried, like that. You know, you're going to a different country all by yourself, and you're going to run.
Mm.
Uh, how are you going to support yourself? And
Mm.
I told her that it's a big run. There is a lot of support.
Mm.
There will be people around me. I'll not be alone. It's not that I'm being in an unsecure location or anything like that. It's not. It's not.
Right.
So she was fair. She was very confident, and I was in touch with her most of the times during my travel and everything. So initially they couldn't understand, but then when they saw me being consistent,
Mm.
you know, putting alarm, getting up, getting ready a night before, keeping my shoes, socks, everything outside, filling up those little bottles.
Right.
And then I requested her that, can you boil a potato for me in the night so that I can have it during the running.
Mm.
So she would make sure that supply of bananas are there, potatoes are there, and everything is there. And during those early runs, when I get up, she would get up, make sure that
All right.
I'm okay. And then I made sure that every time I finish a long run, I give her a call and say that, hey, everything is okay, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm not fainting out there.
Okay.
You read stories in newspapers
Right.
everywhere,
Right.
right? So they had a little bit of that. So I ensured I keep them updated about my progress. I would come talk to my wife about how was the run today. She still asks that, how is the run? How did you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel good, or was it painful? Was it any problem? Were you very tired or not? So yeah, a lot of support was there, right? So they were into it almost as much as I was, right?
So you're saying ultras are not run by individuals; they are run by families.
Yes, of course. Without family support, you can't do it. Not even marathon, right? Because the amount of sacrifice, it's a vacation month in India, right? People want to go out.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
can't, right? We can't.
Yeah.
And they can't leave me and go out because I am dependent on them for my nutrition and
Right.
everything else. Because you have your day job, right? That still
Yeah.
goes on, summer, winter, rain, or whatever.
Doesn't
And,
matter. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Right.
And my office people also supported a lot. There were times when I had to uh, skip some meetings to go to attend to physiotherapy and all. So I mean, they were surprised. They also didn't know how I'm going to do it, but then they somehow I had their support of my team and all, and uh, somehow I felt that everybody was with me in
Mm.
that one way or the other. They couldn't actively do something, but they were there with me in spirit. Right?
That's great to hear. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
work, family, supporting.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
So, what was the difference between marathon and ultra in terms of nutrition and fueling? Was there a difference?
Yeah. So these days. In marathon, typically a lot of people take gels, right? There are
Yes.
very variety of gels, and gels are good. uh, they have a lot of good carbohydrates, fast absorption carbohydrates. So before your uh, glycogen supply depletes,
Yeah.
you eventually take gel. So you can go for a gel in a full marathon completely on gel, because you have to take maybe 4
Mm.
at the max 5, and it's okay. But for ultra marathon, you're going to be hungry, very
Yeah.
hungry,
Yeah.
right? So in addition to gel, you need some solid food support.
Mm.
Okay. Now what I did was I talked to fellow runners and tried to find out what is offered there as a part of a nutrition station,
Mm.
which I can start practicing here. So bananas and boiled potatoes was the answer.
Okay.
Gel you have to carry your own. Nobody's going to give you a gel, and I would never recommend any runner to take the gel which you have not practiced. Okay.
Absolutely.
And what I realized that every 1 hour I need to push roughly 80 to 100 calories of carbohydrates,
Okay.
so that I maintain my energy levels, and around 250 ml of electrolyte per hour,
Mm.
or 10 kilometers, whichever is earlier.
Okay.
So I practiced that, banana and boiled potato. And boiled potato is a very good source of carbs, rapid
Right.
absorption. It's a ready food.
Right.
body doesn't have to do too much to absorb energy out of it. Same is the case with banana.
Right.
So that is the nutrition I took, and you don't have to carry them. It is there available in most of the, at least in India, you'll see bananas are always
Yeah.
there, so you can have them. So you don't need to carry. Only the you need to carry is 4 or 5 gels, just to alter the taste of the mouth. You cannot do like 10 bananas, not possible. Like 10 big potatoes, no way. So I took banana, and then next 10 kilometers a potato, then gel. So I started alternating with them, and I kept 1 or 2 gels extra for the last 5 or 6 kilometers. I think it's more of a psychological need that I'm well fed and I have all the energy to go.
Right.
So that's what I did, and I found out a typical condition when I completed my Mumbai marathon. I was covered with salt, so I was losing salt more than the average person. So one of the runners said that why don't you try salt capsules? So very easily consumable capsules. So you just carry it in a small pouch. And I tried to figure out that what if I take one salt capsule in 15 kilometers? And I started feeling the difference. So I included them in my training runs. So all the long runs, short runs, whichever run I was doing, I was following the exact nutrition plan. So I tuned my body for that nutrition so that the race day doesn't feel any different.
So this salt capsule was in addition to the 250 ml electrolyte.
Yes, my body needs it. Somebody may not need it. They are fortunate, but yes, even that gel will contain salt. Potatoes will have some kind of salt, but typically you need a little bit, and you can get it. Not everybody has it, but I figured out that I felt the difference both in full and half, and so.
So you're suggesting, you have to train gut, body, mind, everything during the training.
Yeah. And try new things during your training run and figure out which works for you.
Not unless.
If something works for you, stick to it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for sharing the training details. So you went 1 week early to South Africa to acclimatize, and then
actually 2 days early.
2 days.
1 week, no, 2 days early.
2 days early. Okay. Please share us. By the way, it's already 7 o'clock. Do you have time?
Yeah, I have all the time. Don't worry.
So share. How did the race go, right from start to end? How did you feel? Any challenges that you faced?
So my first Comrades, that was in 2023. You typically go to down run. Yeah, down run. So you typically go 2 days earlier just to manage that time zone and change in weather. And Durban is a very beautiful place. Right? It's on the beach. It looks like that it is warm, but it is not in winter days, right? So typically we reach Thursday night. Sunday is the run, so you reach Thursday night. Most of the people will do.
Okay.
Then you have settled down in your hotel, sleep. Friday, then you go to the expo. Expo is again a big festival.
Okay.
But the bib collection all is very easy to manage. They do a fantastic job in managing it. That's the difference, right? Nothing is chaotic. It's very well organized, and so there are around 20,000 participants are there, right? So they will be collecting bibs in different times, days. So I collected the bib and booked my bus tickets from the start point to end point, because I was located in Durban and the race will end in Durban.
Okay.
Right? So you need to go to the start point. Either you drive by yourself or they have a bus. You just need to buy a ticket for it at the expo. And then I dropped my bag as well, which I will collect it after the end of the run. So all I did. Then you come back, relax. You just eat and sleep. Nothing else. So big breakfast, big lunches, and then you maybe go for a little bit of run in the morning, 5 kilometers, easy. So usually what happens, a day before the run, lot of those buses are there, pacing buses are there. They will do a practice run singing their local native songs. So South Africa runs on music, right? So everywhere you go in a marathon, there will be a guy with a timing and he'll be pacing. There will be a group of people, but pacing an ultra marathon is altogether a different game. How do you motivate the people for like 10 hours, 12 hours? There are pacers who would say that we'll get the run done in 11 hours, 50 minutes. They are that accurate. So they sing songs. They're singing song.
Okay,
And
well,
there's a huge group. They're going. It's like a big bus. So those buses go. It's a sight to watch, right? And you feel so high in energy. Around your hotel, like people are running and you get all charged up. You all get fired up, right? And the weather is fantastic, like 6 degrees. You're like, I want to do it now.
yeah.
And then the morning arrives, right? After you know that you've slept very well, you had your good nutrition. Now it's time to, suit up for the race.
Hmm.
You prepare yourself, apply Vaseline to all the areas of your body where you feel it could be chafing. Apply to all the areas which you feel it could not, but still do it anyhow because it's going to be a long run. Then it's a matter of pride. You wear the T-shirt which Indian flag on it. Typically, the Indian contingent which goes there, we design separate T-shirts. We have names. We have flag of India. The
Okay.
emblem of Comrades, and it is officially approved by Comrades Marathon Association as well.
Okay.
And then you get onto a bus, and there's a 90-minute ride to the start point. Start point is very cold. Petermarisburg is high up on the hills.
Yeah.
So there are people singing, lighting up fires, singing songs in native language, and everybody is so cooperative, so happy. And the Comrade Marathon start is a festival. They have seedings, right? The corals. It goes from A to H.
Okay.
And you're awarded this coral based on your timing submissions earlier. A is the most elite, and somehow I got B for the first time.
Okay.
And it's like 20,000 people standing there, and then there is a sequence of start. There are 3 songs which are played. The first song is the national anthem of South Africa,
Okay.
right? And I learned that that's the only national anthem in the world which is in 3 languages.
Okay.
It's not the same song repeated in 3 languages, but one single song, and you switch the language in between.
Okay.
And I think South Africa has a big history of colonization, and they have a history of apartheid and all. And somehow Comrades unifies people from all races, all segregation and all, and it is become a very close and dear thing to people out of South Africa. They take pride in it. It's a national pride, right? So then after the national anthem is complete, they have a native song called as Shosholoza, and it's a very close to heart. The song is very close to the heart of native South Africans. It's in Zulu language, I believe. And I've seen people crying in that song. It's a very even I don't understand what it says, right? But it's a beautiful meaning. But I get all emotional when I even listen to that song somewhere else. And then there is the music from the movie Chariots on Fire. That is the last song. And after that, they have a sound of a cock, that sound, and then there is this cannon which goes, and people are unleashed, right? 20,000 people, and the person who is in the last quarrel, by the time that person reaches the start point, it is anything between 15 to 17 minutes.
My God.
Yeah. And then, of course, the timing is on gun time. There is no chip time. You can't do a chip time, right? So you're already running behind 17 minutes for a 12-hour completion time. So I was all fired up, right? And I started the race. I started going very easy. You're high on the energy. 20,000 people, and these are one of the fittest people in the world, and you are among them. So Comrades honor people who finish their training, are there at the start line. That itself makes you a winner, that you are there today. This is the day amongst days where you were there, right? Now nothing else matters. Now you just have a road ahead of you and you have to cover, right? So I was feeling no different, right? And the initial part was very energetic, but I tried to hold my horses. I was going on my regular pace, and my coach didn't give me any training plan or any pacing plan or anything. He just said, just you know what to do. I don't have to tell you; it will automatically come to you. Just run. Make sure that you are following your strategy of nutrition and hydration. And I started meeting people. I started interacting with them. Right. I had an opportunity to run a couple of kilometers with the oldest person who finished Comrade Marathon. His name is Moshela. He's from a very small town, 81 years old. Right.
Oh my God.
Fantastic runner. Right. And I started meeting people from Australia, people from Russia, people from a lot of local people from South. And everybody is very encouraging, right? So then the hill started coming in, right? There was a downhill, fantastic sunrise, nice cold weather. So you're all suited up, 2 layers, you have hand gloves. Now, after 25 kilometers, now you need to start shedding clothes because it's slightly getting warmer, right? So the first thing is I threw off my gloves, right? Then I started getting a lot of hydration. So I usually carry a 250 ml bottle with me, and they give water pouches. So I would fill it, just tear it and fill it so that I have it with me. And every kilometer there is a aid station.
Okay, that's good.
Every kilometer and a half, and those aid stations are on both sides. The length of that aid station is probably 150, 200 meters, right? So you'll not miss anything. People would be there cheering. It is like a festival. The entire 90 kilometers, there are people lined up, every village, everybody's there, right? So first 20 kilometers went very good. Then I met a fellow runner from Mumbai around after 8 to 9 kilometers, and who knew we would finish the race together? The entire 80 kilometers we ran together. So we started talking about many things, just discussing. Just the good thing is when you're actually running, you don't talk about running, you talk about something else.
Yes.
And when you're not running, you always talk about running. So we started going together. Then the day started progressing. The temperature was becoming more bearable. It was less cooler, much easy to. Then we crossed the half point, and we were like, yeah, you know what, we have to still go sometime. And when you do a down run after 65 kilometers, there is full down.
Okay.
So nobody warned me that that's going to be actually difficult. And in my mind, I was picturing, after 65, the race begins. It's going to be down. Yeah, we're going down. What's the big deal? Right? So it became very painful after that, right? Your quad muscles, thighs are very heavy. So I was going fine. After 65, I started feeling a lot of fatigue. And I didn't know what was going wrong. I couldn't run very well. So I decided to stop and take a massage. So by the way, they have medical aid stations where students of physiotherapy quickly giving you massages anytime you want. They would use some massage gel, which is a cold relief gel. They will give you ice massage. So the guy did a fantastic job. Within like 90 seconds, 2 minutes, he gave me a fantastic massage. I feel like I had new legs, right?
Okay.
And typically when I start getting exhausted, I rely on Coca-Cola, right? Because it gives you a lot of sugar rush and all. So around 70, then I started having Coca-Cola, putting ice chips in my mouth because it was all getting hotter. But the pain was there. So I constantly kept telling myself that, yes, let's finish it. Let's finish it. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. And as the distance started reducing, your energy levels again started surging. Start seeing the end point. And I don't know, last 2 kilometers I was running. I finished the race with running, right? The moment you come close, and in Durban, there is this stadium, Durban Cricket Stadium, right? Kingsmead. Yeah. It's a famous stadium where what is this name? Yuvraj Singh had hit 6 sixes off one single over. Kingsmead Cricket Stadium. So the moment you enter the stadium, it's like a completely filled stadium. The volume inside the stadium is fantastic. The moment you go there, there's different energy. There is fireworks, pyrotechnics playing in, and the moment you enter the stadium, you feel like everybody out there is waiting just for you to cheer you up to finish the race. You get that feeling, and you do a semicircular path across that stadium. That was fantastic, full of energy. And then that thought comes to your mind that you should never let anybody tell you that you cannot do hard things, right? And you just cross the finish line, and when you cross the finish line, there comes the medal. It's a very very inconspicuously small medal, because it is the size of a gallantry medal, which you put it, it's the still they have not changed it. It's a very simple medal, nothing fancy, but it gives a different feeling, like finishing Comrades, and you don't feel the pain the very next minute or hour. It's just, and you're so high and you're congratulating everyone, and there is no race. I've seen so many people, so many strong people crying when they finish it. Nobody can control their tears, right? It's very unimaginable, right? You get overdosed on dopamine and endorphin, and you feel fully intoxicated, right? And then the international area has good service for international runners. Then you collect your bag, and then everybody brings in flag of India. So we start taking pictures, right? And people carry the Indian flag, and when they are finishing, they'll hold the flag and finish the race, Comrades. And then you recover, breakfast and everything is there. So and in the middle of the race, I became so high that I actually lost memory between 50 to 70. I don't even know what happened during that time. So you get that feeling, that out of body experience sometime during that big ultra marathon, where you feel that you enter into a meditative state. And that is what keeps bringing you back again and again. People from all over the world keep coming back to Comrade every time. So a fantastic experience, in short.
That visualization that you gave, entering Kings, taking one lap of that stadium, where there are people cheering for you. That visualization itself, I feel amazing just visualizing that.
Yes, definitely.
I felt it, so it makes sense. So you said many people go back again and again. Some of them have finished 35 times as well. But you also went back the next year.
I'm still planning to. So I did 2 back-to-back. Okay. And if you do back-to-back a up run and down run, I did first one in 2023. This year I did the up run, which was more difficult. I didn't realize that it would be such difficult because you're climbing constantly, right? All 87 kilometers. So then you get an extra medal for doing back-to-back. Then I thought I would like to shift my focus a little bit on world majors now. So fortunately, I got my lottery for Tokyo Marathon got selected for 2025. So I want to work a little bit on my timings for full marathon while I can. And see, my ultimate dream is to continue to become an ultra runner. So maybe after I've completed my all world majors, I will go back when I turn 50. Where I don't have the advantage of the speed, but I have the advantage of the mileage I've put and the mindset which I have. That is where I will probably go for more ultras, right? India has very good ultras, right? Tata Ultra Marathon 50 kilometers is a good one. Then you have Khardungla Challenge. It's altogether different ball game. Silk Route Ultra.
That's one.
I think one in Ooty Ultra is there. Class Ultras are there. The Hell Race
are there.
Yeah. So Border Ultra, all those things are there. So maybe I can try my hands on them. But Ultra is a different game. I can't compare anything. I find it you have a lot of opportunity to retrospect, and the good part is that you are with yourself. You're not distracted, you're not doing anything all those 8-10 hours. and somewhere in that journey you find yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's
That's beautiful.
yes.
You find yourself. So if somebody is a runner, maybe they're running marathons, half marathons, and if they have to transition to ultra marathon, what is
Mhm.
the advice that you would give them based on your experience?
Yeah, increase the more mileage gradually, more
Mm,
easy runs.
mm,
Try to find running partners. Try run with a group
mm.
that will help. So aerobic run is the key, right?
Perfect.
Slow, easy, long runs
Yeah,
is the ultra. That's it.
fantastic. You know, through our conversation, one thing that was common for you was there is community. So you
Mhm.
got pushed into it through community. Second one is no goals, just go and enjoy. Whether it
Yes.
was half, full marathon, or ultra marathon, no goal was set. Enjoy.
Mhm.
So these two are fantastic. So do you think these two are like good ingredients for success as a runner?
I think it is. As a runner, one thing is doing an event, having a goal. But if you are runner by your heart,
Mm,
you actually enjoy the process more than the result. So it is always said that when you complete your training for any run, the result is out there. You just have to go and collect the medal. That's it.
right, right.
It's there is nothing overnight which is going to drastically improve your performance or do something.
Mm,
While it is good to focus on the timing, but you have to understand that there are a lot of variables impacting it.
mm,
You have to take it with a pinch of salt, right? And give your best.
mm.
The timing may not be in your favor, but you still give your best on that day,
Yeah.
right? So I would, what my advice to people is that enjoy the process, fall in love with the process,
Mm,
and also plan your events such way that you enjoy the events, you feed on the energy and the excitement which an event has to offer. So event will help you to keep focus. Not doing any events uh, may a lot of people may fizzle out on this,
mm,
and I there is a category of runners who feel that events are pressuring, and they are perfectly fine with it.
mm,
I
mm.
mean, they have something going in them. They can run for 5 years without an event. But I feel event helps you to keep you motivated. You enjoy. You meet. You grow your uh, in your running journey by meeting people, learning from their experiences, uh, understanding techniques. A half marathon is a different technique. Full is different. Ultra is different. A 10K is different,
Right.
right? So it is learning. That's all that is. And then the journey is more enjoyable than the result. The process is more important.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
I have a marathon coming up next weekend. It's in Chicago, and
Oh, very good.
and with conversation that we had, I am so inspired. And I was a little anxious because I was down with dengue for almost 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and then I lost a good amount of training chunk. I was
Mhm.
anxious. What is going to happen now? What you said, just go and take whatever the event has to offer. So it's so inspiring, and I'm all pumped up now. Thank you so much.
Good, good, good. All the best for your Chicago Marathon. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think I have taken enough time from you, and then
Sure.
maybe I have asked everything that I'm supposed to ask, and there were some questions which after conversation, I feel it is silly to ask you those questions now because I got a lot out of this conversation. So
Mhm.
hopefully, when the next one is done, when Tokyo is done, when you have hit PR, we'll have conversation again. So
Sure.
good luck with Tokyo. You,
Okay.
you are a race in
Thank
my.
you.
Thank you.